Hello friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design. Welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. This is a weekly series that I do here on my YouTube channel, and we follow a little schedule. The first Wednesday of the month, we do our tag of the month, followed by the banner of the month, then the birthday card of the month, and the flower of the month. And whenever there's a fifth Wednesday, we do a wild card project, and this is Wild Card Wednesday. So welcome aboard. I thought I would share with you a project. I think we're going to make like a, I don't know, some sort of a fun little folio or something using a brand new collection sent to me from Spellbinders Paper Arts. This is called Bayfair, and it is gorgeous for summer. I'm in love with it already. I have the 12 by 12. They sent me the 12 by 12, which is 20 sheets with 20 different designs. So we're talking a lot of beautiful here. And there's this one gold foiled sheet. I don't know if you can see the foiling, but this collection is gorgeous. The paper is probably, I don't know, maybe 65 pound, 80 pound. It's a nice weight. It's single-sided, which is kind of nice for when you're making a folio. And you can see how beautifully these patterns pair up together. I love the color palette. And then we switch over from this floral into kind of a nautical feel, which is really fun. Look at these beautiful little birds. Aren't they gorgeous? And then this sort of animal print, little sailboats and lighthouses, this beautiful toile, this shade of blue. I hope the camera picks it up. It is stunning. Then another little gingham in the background with the floral in the front. So pretty. This very chic dark navy with the chairs, a text. These really fun Ming vases. This all over print, and there's little tiny bits of foiling in there. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but it's really beautiful. Seed packets, and then this gorgeous dragonfly print. So that's the papers. They also sent me this lovely ephemera pack, and you know how much I love ephemera. And this is fun because you can take this paper all different directions. There's a bunch of florals for layering, some really beautiful foiled leaves, these little tiny foiled pieces, butterflies, Ming vases, branches, these adorable little pennants, little medallions, the whale, beach towel. Look at these sailboats, how cute they are. They come in green and in the pink. Lobsters, little beach houses, stack of books, just all kinds of fun. And then I love these postage stamps. I have a thing for postage stamps. I don't know if you knew that, but these are really fun. So you can take this a lot of different ways, I think, and have a lot of fun with it. These really pretty birds, bathing suits. It's just great. Then they also sent me these really fun buttons that have repeats of some of the motifs that are in the paper collection. Oh yeah, and that ephemera set has 136 pieces. And then these really pretty dragonflies, these layered dragonflies. They're dimensional, really pretty with the gold foiling. So that is the paper collection. I think we will make a pretty, maybe a card folio, something kind of simple but fun. And I'm kind of feeling beachy, so maybe we'll go with those papers. Hang around and see what we're making. All right, friends, it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'm feeling kind of beachy, so I pulled out a lot of the beach elements and papers that were in this collection to make this really cute slimline folio. This is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, has a 1/2 inch spine, covered on the back, ribbon closure. This is really reasonable ribbon. One of my favorites navy, ivory, and gold. Really beautiful. I've added in some Spellbinders gems. This is one of the little Bayfair buttons and these little dragonflies. Layered up a bunch of stuff. You'll see how to do that in the tutorial that follows. This opens out like this. And over here we have a slash pocket that I've dressed up with some more really cute beachy themed items. This was just a little scrap that I turned into a photo mat that fits in the pocket. Over here is a really fun pull-out page. So you can get photos and journaling here. Really, really fun and easy to make. Everything about this is easy, quick, and easy, which who doesn't need that in the summertime? I'm all about quick and easy in the summertime. So this keeps the accordion from flapping around, which is always nice. Then this opens out. We've got a darling little side pocket with two adorable little tags. They both have charms. This one has a sailboat, this one has a seashell. So you can do journaling on the back. And I'll link to all the supplies that I used on my blog, and I'll link to my blog in the description box. And then we have a wonderful kinetic waterfall feature. So this is 6 panels. I'm going to show you how to build this. Super fun. The only thing decorated is the front cover. Everything else is just patterned paper. So you can do your photos on the one side and journaling on the other. And that is what we are making for this Wild Card Wednesday. Stick around. Here comes the tutorial. All right, friends, the first thing we're going to do is do this little folio base. I have a sheet of 110 pound 11 by 8.5 paper, and we're going to score our first score at 4 1/4. Then we're going to skip down here to 4 3/4 and score in a 1/2 inch spine. Then we're going to come down here to 9 and score again. So when we fold this, we're going to have this slimline folio that has this little flap right here. Okay, so then we're going to line this. I pulled some really pretty summery blue. This is not really a navy blue, it's just a really true blue, and I've cut some pieces here. We are going to need 4 that are 4 1/8 by 8 3/8, and these are going to go front, back, and on these 2 inside panels. Okay, these are all cut from 8.5 by 11 paper. Then you're going to need a 4 by 8 3/8 inch piece. This is going to glue down right here, and I'm actually going to do this one with you because excuse me, I'm a little froggy this morning. This is going to be a pocket on the other side. So the way I want to do this is I'm going to come in with my adhesive, and I'm just going to put adhesive here and here and here. And this is going to go like this, okay? So now when you flip to this side, you can see this is a pocket, all right? So then on this little flap, I have a 1 7/8 by 8 3/8 inch piece. Like this. So you can see there's going to be a cute pocket on the inside. All right. Then this is where we're going to put those larger pieces, the 4 1/8 by 8 3/8. But I'm going to cover this spine here. This is just a 1/4 by 8 3/8. I do this for 2 reasons. One, I like breaking up all the white. But the other reason is when I'm loading my other elements in, I can really see better. And I did another one for the outside spine, okay? So go ahead, get these blue pieces glued in, and then come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so now we look like this. It's already looking pretty handsome. Before we go any further, I want to go ahead and add my ribbon closure. So I've put a couple of strips of 1/2 inch score tape on the front and the back cover. This is really reasonable ribbon. This is one of my favorites. I love this for Christmas. I love it for summer. It's just a great ribbon. And it's navy, ivory, and gold plaid. I'll link to it on my blog, and you'll be able to find the link in the description box below. So the link to my blog in the description box below, sorry. I'm going to cut a couple of pieces of this, and I like to get this underneath layers so that it's nice and secure. And I use my ruler to help me line up each side. So there's that. Now, I found this really pretty pink, which is a great color match for the pink papers in this collection. And I've cut 3 to 3 7/8 by 8 1/8. And these are going to go on the front cover, here and here, okay? Then I've cut 1 to 1 5/8 by 8. All right, friends, I've gone ahead and lined this. This is also that same 1 5/8 by 8 1/8 here. And I went ahead and cut an extra pink one to go on the back because I just like how sturdy it makes the folio feel. So now we're going to bring in this accordion fold. Again, this is 11 by 8 1/8. And I've scored it at 3 5/8, folded, scored it at 3 5/8, and then you accordion fold. Your adhesive is going to go on the back. But before we put the adhesive down, we're going to grab a piece of our ribbon, all right? And we're going to wrap it around the back. I'm just going to go ahead and tie a bow because it's easier to work with this. And this will keep this from flapping around. And it also looks really cool when you open the folio, all right? So I'm going to put a little adhesive under my ribbon to hold it in place. And then I'm just going to put my adhesive on the back of the panel. Put a little extra on the ribbon to make sure that it holds. And this is going to go down right here. And then this fun little flap is going to open out and give you lots of room to add photos or journaling or whatever, so that this becomes like, this would be a great way to record a beach trip or something, or a little birthday party at the beach, or there you go. I want this on this side. All right, and I'll trim that up and make it pretty later. But that's where we are right now. Let me cut some patterned papers and we'll go on to the next step. All right, friends, I've gone ahead and added our papers. And for this, you're going to need to cut 5 3.5 by 7 7/8 inch pieces of your patterned paper, whatever paper you're using. And this is how I laid mine out. These are mostly going to be just plain because they're for photos. You can probably get 2 little 3x3 or like a 3x5 and have room for a journaling spot. And then because this is the opening page, I want to dress it up just a little bit. I pulled out these really sweet little shells from that ephemera pack. I just want to put a little bit of glue along the bottom so photos or journaling or whatever can go behind. Flip this open. Here's our pocket. You're going to line these with two 1.5 by 7 7/8 inch pieces of your patterned paper. And then I took this die. This is the Create a Decorative Tag die. And first I die cut mirror gold cardstock, and then I cut this sweet dragonfly paper and I put the little inserts in. So you can change this up and make it look different ways. I use this geometric die along with this sort of fleur-de-lis die, tied a little gold string through there, added a little charm, and these sweet little tags can go right into this pocket. You can add a little photo booth sized photo there. So that brings us, let me clear some space here. Over to this left-hand panel. And for this, I cut a 3 5/8. It's actually one tick wider than 3 5/8 by 7 7/8 inch piece of this gorgeous sailboat paper. Man, I wish I had more of this pattern. I absolutely love it. There's something very calm about it, and it's just unexpected, like a pink nautical design is really fun. So this is going to go down here, and I want to make a little slash pocket. So I have this 6 inch by 4 inch, actually it's 4 inch by 6 inch piece of our dragonfly paper. And I'm just going to show you very quickly how easy it is to make a slash pocket. Bring this over so I'm sure you can see. I'm scoring a 1/2 inch on the left, and then I'm turning it and scoring a 1/2 inch along the bottom. I'm going to, well, first I'm going to trim out this corner where those two lines intersect, so it looks like this. Then I'm going to fold this piece back and this piece under, and you can see now we fit nicely. This is about the way you want it to be. I'm going to come in with my ruler. I'm going to come over, I think, 1 inch and make a mark. And on the bottom right, I'm going to come up 1 inch and make a mark. Actually, the truth is I usually just eyeball this, but for you, I'm making the marks. I'm going to line those two marks up on the cutting blade. I have my sides folded back. There's the one mark. There's the other mark. I want them lined up, and I'm just going to cut like this. And there's your slash pocket. It's so easy to do. And now we're just going to put our adhesive on the flaps and glue this down, just like this. And I'll probably dress this up with a little bit of ephemera and put some of these blue photo mats inside that pocket. And now we're at this center piece. So I'm going to move this out of the way and come in with what we're going to be doing. So we're going to make a kinetic waterfall. And I've cut two pieces of paper. This back panel, the pink we're going to call the back panel. This is 3 3/4 by 7 7/8. And we're going to call this the front panel. And this is, actually they're 3 5/8 by, this is 8 3/8. This is a little longer because we've scored a 1/2 inch along the top. And this is going to go behind the pink panel. Do you see that, how that works? So then I went ahead and scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1/2 inch score lines. And we're just going to crease along these score lines. And you can use a bone folder if you like. All right. And this top flap is going to adhere behind the back panel, just like that, okay? So the whole idea here is this panel gets pulled and these little score lines fold, all right? Then I went ahead and cut 6 3.5 by 4-inch panels of my pink cardstock. And I'm going to fold. I scored a 1/2-inch line on the top of each one. I'm folding and scoring. And for this, I am going to bring in a bone folder just to make sure that's a nice crisp fold. Here we are. I'm going to place my adhesive on my 1/2-inch flap. I'm going to put my ruler down here so that hopefully it will help you see, because I know it's hard to see on this dark navy paper, but there's my score line. And I'm going to, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm going to center this up. Nice and straight, just below. See, I'm like, well, that's a little too low. I'm going to go actually just like this. That's maybe the best way for me to show you. And glue this down. Then fold the next one and do the same thing. And make sure your panels are lined up with one another. Fold the next one. See how easy this is? Line your panels up. And I put the sturdier paper on the back because it's the working part of the mechanism, so it's kind of important that it's a sturdier paper back there. This blue paper is just a very light 65-pound cardstock that I had in my stash, but the color was a good match, so I pulled it out. All right, and one more right here. All right, so the whole idea is this gets moved and see how these flip up? It's so fun. So now what we need to do, so we want to go four and 5/8. So this is going to go, I'm about a 1/2 inch from the bottom of my front panel, of my blue panel, sorry. And I'm wrapping this around, not too tight, because you have to be able to leave room. I'm just putting adhesive right there. And then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right here. Whoops, keeping it straight. Okay, so see now it works like this. All right, friends, as you can see, I've added my designer paper to my little waterfall folio, and these are each 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I want to take a little piece of this blue. I'm going to cut it to 3 1/2. And I just want to go about, make sure I'm straight here. A 1/4 of an inch, just to dress up the top a little bit. I just think it looks really nice. So that's super sweet. And you can see down here, I put a piece of paper. This covers up the tabs and just makes this look more interesting. And then this pulls down and that is covered as well. So these are both, this one is 3.5 and this one is 3 1/4. And it doesn't interfere with the mechanism sliding. Before we put this into the folio, I'm going to take these little flowers. And the thing that's great is doing a little waterfall folio like this is a great way to use up your scraps. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to come in with my little beach blanket and put that down. This is going to be flat. This is not going to be dimensional because, you know, I want to make sure everything fits into the book. I'll tuck this in under. There we go. Just to add a little depth and dimension without adding any thickness. Then our bathing suit. It's so cute. Right here. And then I've got some of these little dragonflies that I'm just going to dot around the page. One here. One here. And one here. All right, so there's our little photo folio. This is the only tricky part, and as long as you do this, you won't have any problems. On the back is this blue band. This is the only place that you put adhesive. Don't put adhesive anywhere else or it will not work and you will be sad. So go ahead and lay this down. I'm going to center it up. Make sure I'm straight. Okay. All right, so now we're going to build the cover. And I've kind of laid out what I want to do. I hope I remember. This is a 3 5/8 by 7 7/8 inch piece of this blue toile. And from our ephemera, I've taken these blue flowers and I cut them in half so that I can layer them in like this. I'm going to do this in between the two. All right. Then I took this piece of this gold foil and I cut it to a width of 2 1/8, and the height is 8, and I cut fishtails, and then I took a scrap of our pink sailboat paper, which is 2 by, I want to say this is 7 5/8. I've put foam tape on the back because I want a little elevation. This is the front, so we can get away with that. And I'm going to center this up just like that. Then I went into my dies. This is an amazing paper grace. These are Pico Petite circles, and I die cut one out of white, and then I use the center piece to cut this out of this pretty little gold foil speckled piece, I put foam tape between the two layers, and I also put foam tape on the back. And we're going to put this just a little bit above center on our fishtail banner. All right, so now I want to layer in some pretty leaves and such. Pretty, pretty. And then I'm going to balance it on the other end. I think this is a really good collection. Okay, so that's going to go like that. Then I've got these little sprigs that we're going to tuck in. So one here, right here, I think. There we go. All right, and now we're just going to build a little scene. I'm going to start by bringing in some of these pretty flowers, and we're not going to put any dimension on these. These are going to go flat down onto our circle. I want one here, and you guessed it, one in the opposite corner, like this. Okay, just like that. Then I took our little beach house, which is so stinking cute, and I added some double layer of chipboard to the back to make it really pop. And I want this to go right about here. Okay. And our little flag that says hooray is going to tuck in. I'm going to lift that just for a moment so that I can put this in behind it. There we go. Just like that. That's so cute. All right. Then I went into my stash and I found this vellum flower, and I put one of the base side buttons in the center and two things of foam tape on the back. And the last thing I want to do, I'm going to put it down right here, like it's flying in for a visit. And that is the cover. So cute. Look how pretty that is. I love these colors, y'all. I'm very much inspired by color when I choose product or a project. Color really, really draws me in. I'm going to find some little sparkly gems and dot those around. But this is basically finished. So there you go. Wild card, Wonderful Wednesday, May 2024, with really reasonable ribbon and a lot of goodies from Spellbinders. I hope you enjoyed this little project. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of fun here. And I think that's it for me. Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. Go get your craft on. Bye.